Hey, I I've decided to paint myself today. I've also managed to mess up my audio. Give me 2 secs. How is everyone today? So, let me know how the audio is. I'm not sure it's working 100%, if I'm honest. I was having massive technical issues, and for some reason it wouldn't start the stream that I scheduled again, which it should have done, so I don't really know what's going on. I need to sort out this YouTube malarkey. Anyway, I decided to paint myself today. And I guess the reason I'm going to paint myself is because I want to sort of understand how I look and kind of explore myself while I'm painting. So for the first time in the stream, I'm going to start off with a totally blank canvas. Well, I say blank, I've put some grid lines on it so I can do the sketch. Now the reason I do grid lines is to make sure that the sketch is accurate. I can still do it without grid lines, it would just take a lot longer. I've also got a reference image just here on the side, just so it can help me when I do the sketch. I think it's always a challenge to paint yourself. I think painting yourself is a bit eye-opening, to be honest. And I think, yeah, I think it's definitely worth exploring what you look like and understanding yourself. So that's kind of the idea, I guess. I did have a computer crash before the stream, so hopefully it all goes ahead well. Just checking all the cameras are working. So yeah, I guess I'll start with a sketch. Let me know what you think you're going through. I put on some upbeat music today, just because A, I'm a little bit tired, and B, why not? It's myself. So I took this photo. This is a recent photo. I took this yesterday. So yeah, quite exciting. What pencil am I going to use? I don't have a sharpener, so one that hasn't been used before. I'll use a B. So, the reason I use a grid is basically so I can get things right the first time. It's a lot easier. I'll still be able to sketch without the grid, it just makes it so much quicker and easier. So, when I'm sketching, I just literally start at a totally random place usually. There's no particular method to my madness. So what I'm going to do is, I'll show you the method I do. So I'm going to start here. So that's my first bit of hair. I don't know how well this is going to pick up on the screen. I might have to change the contrast depending on how it looks. Let me know if you really can't see it. So I just do grid by grid basically. My hair's a bit messy, so I deliberately chose a challenging photo where there's a hand. Hands are particularly challenging when you're drawing. I deliberately chose texture in my hair, so it was all messy rather than all neat. I think that would look quite well. The lighting is sort of very top and downwards, so that creates nice shadows along your face. That's why I chose this photo. And the eyes are light enough for me to be able to see my the colour of my eyes. I've also changed the way the reference image works as well in this stream, so I'll be able to zoom in and zoom out because it's just using the Photos app on Windows. So as I say, hopefully this stream will go well. I had some technical issues getting started, so we'll see. I'm just going to quickly sketch the outline of the hair. Sorry about that, just texting someone good night. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you can see on the image. It's going to be very faint this stream. I'm a bit worried. I don't really want to turn up the contrast so it's really easy for you to see, because that will affect the future video and it might affect the stream and the context going forward. As I say, I'm just going to quickly sketch it as I do. I'm using a B pencil, so it should be fairly dark. So, as I said, the reason why I'm doing a self-portrait is mainly just so I can explore my understanding myself better, because we don't really look at ourselves. Like, we look at ourselves in the mirror a little bit. I'm not particularly vain, so I don't really look at myself very often. But to understand the shapes of my face, understand the expressions, like for now I've just realised from literally this, my hair and my beard sort of merge into one very clearly, and my whole face is framed with hair. There's no skin touching the background that I've just noticed. I feel like I've done that. No, I've done it right. Felt a little bit wrong in terms of the grid system. I thought I'd made the grid a bit weird. This is interesting. It gets very dark here, so I need to work out on the printout anyway. On the actual image, it might be a bit better. I'll just very quickly do the sketch. That'll be fine for that bit. It's kind of like I draw the points that I'm going to, and it's like drawing the dots, whether it's a straight line or a curve. So now I'm going to attempt to draw the hand. So hands are notoriously difficult. I'm going to use a darker pencil for you. It's going to cause me problems going forward, but use an 8B. So why did I choose this pose? Because it was difficult. Because it was expression. It shows. I think it kind of shows my personality a little bit. But I also think it's a challenge. Certainly having a hand there is a challenge. Hands are notoriously difficult to paint, and it's one of the areas I really want to improve. So what's better than trying to do it on my own hand? I really don't know why my YouTube's not starting on the stream that I've created. I've tried everything. I did a test run and it worked, so I'm baffled now. I'm totally baffled why it's not working. I'll put the reference image up so you can see. So you can see there's a real texture on the clothing. That's not something that I'll probably replicate. I'll probably just replicate a standard sheet. I don't know. I'll choose when I go up to it. I'll probably just do a fairly standard, normal sort of plain. Piece of clothing. I don't want it to take away from the portrait. Actually quite a lot in this sketch. So today I'm probably just going to do the sketch. I don't know if I'll do any painting. I might do, depends how long the sketch takes. So I'm just going to mark that point there. I'm going to mark that point there. See, it's a sort of fairly straight line, but there is a bit of a lump in it. So that's how I draw in grids. Just go from one point to another. Now this sort of comes down this way, and then I'll just bring it down to here, and it will just sort of do that. There's a nice dark bit in here which I'll just shade in. So that's how I go about doing the sketch. My fingernail's very dirty. So that one comes down to about there, maybe a little bit inside. The reason I don't like doing dark pencil, because A, it's very difficult to paint over, and B, it's actually quite difficult to rub out if I make a mistake on canvas. So that finger's a very odd shape on the painting. only held that up with tape, so it's going to fall down. So I was never going to do a self-portrait, but I was encouraged to in the last stream by Stephen. So thank you for that, Stephen, if you're here. But also I've been talking to people since, and they said, yeah, I think you should do, because you'll explore your self-portraits are the most difficult because you'll be most critical, and you'll not realise necessarily what you look like until you've done it. So actually you kind of learn quite a lot from a self-portrait, is what other people are trying to sort of insinuate from this. And also, as a pure exercise for me to learn, I think learning hands is really quite good, and this is a real sort of a very low risk way of learning how to paint a hand. So even when I sketch, I sort of add a bit more detail in, just so I can kind of understand where things are going. So I'm doing the knuckles there. And I think, as a hand goes, that's not too bad actually. I think I've done quite well to draw that. Obviously this looks a bit funny because my beard's in the way. There's a few strands of beard there. Right, now I'll do the gap between my lips. Or not the gap because I haven't got my mouth open, but that starts about there, goes to halfway along this line, and then finishes sort of up here. There's a subtle curve down. What's really critical about mouth, you must get the mouth right. If you don't get the mouth right, it looks terrible. Then it goes up a bit here and then down. So that's how wide my mouth is. Kind of goes from here. Say the bottom of my lip is there. And then it sort of goes up into here, so that'll be like this. I've got a fat bottom lip compared to what I thought I had. And then I've got a shadow down here, where I've got a bit of beard. Around here I haven't got much beard, so I'm just going to sort of draw a little hole, I guess. Here I've got a very pronounced sort of dimple. And then I'm just going to quickly draw in the vague top of my beard. And just so I know in the sketch, which that's really dark there, I'm going to sort of paint over areas where I'm expecting hair, just so I know. So that's my bottom lip. Let's do the top lip now. So I'm just looking at me in camera. The middle of my top lip is not lined up with the middle of my bottom lip. So you learn something new every day. So I'd say this is a big sort of exercise in your sort of self-confidence, self-judgment. I don't really care what I look like. I'm quite excited to actually paint myself in an expression like this and really understand what I look like. I might end up giving this to my parents or something, just so they have a record of what I look like. Stick it on the wall, maybe. Or give it to a good friend of mine. I don't know, really. So the edge of my face does this. That hair comes out. There's no ears in this image, which is probably good for me because I'm not very good at ears. My glasses come down from about there. Slightly above halfway on that grid. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm sort of marking out the grid spots and then sort of joining up the lines. Actually, this would be quite an easy birthday Christmas present to give to my parents, wouldn't it? So I wouldn't have to go out and buy something. It's a bit self-obsessed though, isn't it? I made that bridge a bit high, so just get the rubber out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly draw in the other one, which is, so that's where the grid line is. That's going to be like that. The top of the bridge is there. So I mean, it's really difficult to erase a dark pencil. So just sort of some reference lines so I can line the glasses up. I think it's really important to get the glasses right. These are a big, quite defining part of the whole painting. Pretty much bang on halfway there. Okay, I've got that pretty close. These glasses have definitely seen better days. I do have newer ones, but I prefer these ones, they're just better. We'll step back, check that looks even, which it doesn't. It won't be perfectly even because of the angle, but it should be pretty close, I would have thought. Well, that looks about right. This one looks... So you can see it coming along. You can see the sketch working quite well. I need to do the nose. I did the glasses first so I could do the nose, so I can reference the nose from it directly. Maybe I should have done the nose first, I don't know. As I say, it's a bit of an exploration, isn't it? It's interesting. My nose is a very solid straight line at the bottom between the... something I've never noticed before. I now know why on like Portrait Artist of the Year they insist on doing like a self-portrait. I think to apply you need to show a self-portrait. And I actually understand now. I've never really thought about it. It really does sort of make you think about who you are. There's some really nice shadows under the glasses here, which I'm going to try and replicate. There's a bit of reflection over there as well. Looking at this has made me realise how much I've actually aged. I'm quite a hairy person facially, so that's another one where the challenge is going to come from. I also took this when I was very tired as well, which was actually somehow intentional because I really wanted to show the expression and the emotion when you're quite tired after a busy day. So that's why I took it, because I wanted to show like the strain of the day. I think it'll make a lovely sort of portrait, a really characterful portrait. It's not going to be a work of art that you would like necessarily want to put on a wall, but it's really like an expression of who I am. So yeah, there you go. I think I've got the eyes pretty good there. Shade those in so it doesn't look a bit weird. Right, now I'll go on to just do the sketch of the hair, do the overall sort of shape. Hair doesn't really matter if you sketch it correctly, it just needs to be there. I tend to sketch the absolute limits and then sort of make up as we go along. And this is the first portrait we've done on the channel. Okay, I did the skateboarder, but slightly different sort of discipline.
I know it's hard, it's not impossible. Tell them there's no limit, I'm unstoppable. Stop myself from giving it's possible. Nobody else, nobody else will play the fool. Maybe I was born just to play the money and feel like a fool.
And I tend to just quickly go over and do some things of which direction the hair is going in, just so I know when I'm doing it. So that's the face. I'll now go on and do the clothing, which is sort of less important, but still quite critical.
Don't worry about a thing, everything is going well. Let enter my inner child. I've got to tell you something else. All the pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel sane. Don't act blind if you're blessed with the vision. Then you've got to watch signs and your gut tells you everything. See this in time and trust your intuition. You will find you on a mission, you'll be better than you ever been. If you're blessed with the vision, got to watch signs and your gut tells you everything. Just trust your intuition, you'll be on a mission, you'll be better than you ever been.
That's that side done. And now the other side. Oh, I haven't done this bit. One of the things I do feel I'm really quite strong at when I'm painting is the clothing aspect of things. I think it really brings out, I can really bring out what the clothing is doing, which brings character to the whole painting, to be honest. There you go, that's the sketch. So what I tend to do now is I rub out the grid lines. I'll leave the other lines. I rub out the grid lines. Now, every single line that I've drawn here actually is okay to be kept because most of the painting itself has like a dark, the transition is very dark, so it's a very clear transition from the finger to the face or the nose or the mouth. It's a very clear transition. So let me just quickly rub out all the, I'll do it on palette cam actually. So the reason I'm changing the palette cam, I'm just going to move the canvas, the palette cam, so I can rub out the, so I can erase the lines. Now it's really critical I erase these back grid lines because the background is essentially white and I'm going to keep it white. I will put a layer of white, but I'm going to keep it a very white. So I think that will really enhance my face on the background, almost as if it's like a passport photo, where the only thing that really has any meaning is the photo itself. I don't really care about the grid lines down below because they'll be covered by dark paint, so you won't be able to see them. But I really do care about these ones in the background. Oops, everything's going flying here. So I'm shaking this table, which is only on wheels. I guess I could do some over-the-top painting for smaller pieces. It's not something I'm used to, but maybe that's something I can do in the future with the setup. What about some of these? The grid lines on my face as well, because skin tones are quite difficult to cover up grid lines. I do my grid lines very, very light. So there's me back on my easel. What I will do now is I'll tidy up the mess I just made everywhere. 2 secs, I'll be back in a sec. And then what I'm going to do to finish off today, I'm going to do the background. I'll probably start on the jumper. I'll keep the jumper the similar colour, sort of navy colour, but I won't do the sketch pattern. Sorry, the hatch pattern. Or the quilt sort of pattern, whatever it's called. Throw this away, I don't need it. So the background is very white. I'm probably just going to do it in a white with a touch of grey. Maybe a touch of skin tone actually. Sorry, I'm on the wrong screen here. Let's actually have a look at the reference image. So, this is the reference image. Now, the reason I chose this image was more, not because it's a fantastic photo. I think it does show my expression quite nicely. But let me sort of guide you through. You can see my mouse, that's great. What I quite like about this, there's a nice bit of expression here. And it's kind of not an even expression. My glasses don't seem to line up with the side of my mouth. I'm sort of squishing my face up. So I think it's quite a nice image. Secondly, there's a nice sort of, maybe this photo is a bit, I don't know actually. I don't know how you see it on the screen. So I was going to say maybe this photo is a bit bright. Sorry, I didn't want to do that. So maybe the photo's a bit bright, but actually on my screen it looks fine. But if we zoom in, you can see there's a lot of texture and a lot of expression in my skin here. So that's why I chose. And the beard's going to be challenging to get these white wisps, or these highlighted wisps. It's a sort of strawberry, gingery beard. I look a bit sweaty. I'm very tired from the night before. I've got puffy eyes. So that's one of the reasons why I chose this photo, because I thought it has a huge amount of expression. It tells quite a lot of story, rather than just a simple sort of passport photo. So that's why I chose a photo. So I'll keep it sort of like that. Now the background I'm going to keep very, very light. I'll probably just mix a bunch of white with a tiny bit of grey. I won't put a gradient on it. I don't think it needs it. I think it just, a flat solid background is perfectly adequate for this. I will paint it because it will look neater than just leaving it as blank canvas. So yeah, let's do some mixing. So I've got a blank palette here, and I'm just going to use white, probably a touch of grey. I might actually use a bit of skin tone flesh tint instead of the grey, just to sort of infer colour from my skin, just to make it a little bit less contrasty. The jumper itself is a sort of navy grey, so that would work as well, but I think the flesh tint, it's going to need to be quite a lot of paint, so I'll put quite a lot of white down. And I'll put a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of flesh tint down. I'll just mix this together. Hopefully that's enough to cover it. It should be, because it's not that much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a fairly large brush. I'm going to keep it fairly smooth on the back. Rather than so I'm going to keep it a smooth paint rather than using texture background like I quite often do. I'll add a little bit more white in there. I don't know what this music is, I don't like it. Let's change the music. See what this one's like. Right, so I'm ready to paint now. So white gives a really terrible coverage on canvas. So I'm going to have to do multiple layers of this. You know what I'm going to use? I'm going to use a sort of decorator's brush. It'll give me better coverage. And I'll be able to sort of get a smoother finish as well. I quite often like using decorating brushes for paintings, certainly for backgrounds, because you do get a much nicer, smoother finish if you're looking for that. But you get a lot quicker, a lot better coverage. Especially with this white paint, which isn't very... I think it's deliberately sort of doesn't cover it up, cover the sort of background up very well. Needs like 2, maybe 3 coats. The reason you do that is because it creates nice effects if you just sort of layer it up rather than go there. Coverage isn't too bad on this, with using this brush anyway. I'm going to finish the background in one sort of direction, so all the brush strokes are in the same direction. Which is going to be up and down, because I want the brush strokes to draw your eye up and down the painting. Gonna run out of paint here, I think. I always do this, not put enough paint on the palette. Very common mistake of mine. Actually, there might be just enough. There's just one first layer. I'll do another layer at some point. Probably tomorrow. Or my next stream. That'll be the background done. Probably can't see that at all on the stream because it's very similar colour to the actual very similar colour to the actual canvas. That's cool. Try and use up all the paint. Get it onto the canvas, I may as well, because I'm not going to use that colour again today. So there we go. The background done. And then I'll just put the block colour down for the t-shirt, for the hoodie or whatever I'm wearing. And that'll be that. Let me get some water out. So the hoodie is like a is a sort of dark bluey colour. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it, I'm going to use cobalt blue, the main colour. Just going to whack that down on the canvas, quite a lot of it. And then going to get some Payne's Grey, which is going to be the darker colour. So that will get the actual colour right. And then from there, what I'll do, is I'm going to lighten it up with some white. Because although it's a sort of bluey grey, it's actually a light bluey grey, navy. So let's see how this works. I've got the cobalt blue. I'm going to grab the bit of Payne's Grey to get the right colour. I'm going to mix a fairly large amount of it. I'm just going to whack a bunch of white on it to lighten it up. And I hope you can see that that's a similar colour to what's on the... We need a bit more blue. There you go, I've got a very similar colour to what's there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to whack the colour on and then sort of... Yeah, that's a nice colour, that's a nice blue. It's not quite the same, but I quite like it. I'll obviously go back later on and redo the... Go over it again.
No sleep, my veins run dry, I'm empty. I can't see, I'm blinded by this concrete. And I should call you, see what you've been up to. I've been wondering, how far did you go in 7 months? I bet you're happy and don't think that much about me. Here I am, not knowing how to move on without you.
I'm just going to put the sort of rough shadows in at the moment so I can at least have something to draw on.
Same old good anxiety. Where's your irony? Just smile wide, 'cause I got everything I need, but not what I wanted.
I like this song. I'm going out on Sunday and I'm going to go and sort of take some videos with my new camera setup. And maybe from those videos, so I'll go to like a place of nature. I might use the film to create more mindfulness videos, just to fill in the gaps when I can't like release a video every week. So my idea is every Saturday from now on, there'll be a video coming out, like a proper one rather than just a short. And I think that will make a huge difference to my channel, making sure I have that regular schedule. But because I can't really necessarily do a painting every week, I think it'll be worth me filling the gaps with mindfulness videos. Sort of helping people sort of get away from the world, as it were. I think that's really important. So obviously these shadows aren't like the end product, as it were, but they're just there for me to kind of understand where they are in the drawing without having to work it out again. And then when I come back to this, I think it'll be Friday, what I'll end up doing is I'll end up painting the really working on the hoodie and then starting on the face, I think, or possibly, yeah, I'll start on the face and the hand will be last. Hand will be last because it's in front of everything. I like working backwards to front. Which is why I'm doing the hoodie like before the face, because it's behind the face, as it were. I'm going to fill in these bits with very dark paint later on. So yeah, do let me know if you enjoyed the fact I did the sketch, or whether you prefer me to do the sketch sort of offline. The reason I did the sketch today is because I hadn't got around to it, and I thought, well, you know what? This one's sketching a person's face is quite interesting compared to like sketching like the cat sketch I did was very quick and easy. There wasn't a lot to it, but the face I think was there's a lot of sort of techniques, I guess, with the sketch. Important sort of things. You might have noticed I'm doing a little bit like paint by numbers, I guess, as it were. I'm doing little sections at a time and then separating with a bit of a darker seam. Now, the reason I'm doing that is just so I know where the lines are once I've painted over them. Be honest. Most of the rest of the hoodie is dark. I'm going to upgrade my paint to a much darker paint so I can add the shadows in. I'm going to get my Payne's grey and just make the blue a lot darker. There's a bit of the sketch totally forgot here. Just deal that later on. The little you can't see that. Where the hand, the cuff of the shirt, I haven't done very well in the sketch. I'm not going to show you that. I'm not going to change the camera just for that. It's not that interesting. Just add a few shadows in here and there. Not that important at the moment, but I will just make sure that they're in there, just so that we know, so we understand what's happening with the lighting. Very clear definition between the cuff and the actual hoodie. It's quite a nice highlight in there, but I'll do that later on, I think. Now I'm going to paint the really dark areas. That's mainly in here. It's not dark enough. Need pure Payne's Grey, I think. Should really wash my brush before I do this. Oops, really want to do that. I'll obviously fix that on another day. There's a really dark bit here as well. So I really like doing portraits and stuff. So I'm really excited to sort of carry on with this. Now I've got the block colour down, I can get on to what I really love, which is the tones of the face, the textures, the hands, the things that really start challenging you and sort of making you understand what a human face looks like. And I think this is going to be a fantastic portrait, I really do, if I can execute it well. I think even though it's me, and I'm not necessarily saying it's the best photo in the world, because it's definitely not. The whole point of the expression, the look, is really quite something. So yeah. So that's our shorter stream tonight. I'm going to finish earlier. So I've done what I needed. I've got the sketch, I've got the background on, and next time I'm going to focus on the face. Get the colours down on the face, really. Work forward. So do the skin tones next, and then work on the beard, work on the nose, work on the eyes, work on the hair. I'll probably do the hair last after the face, and then very last will be the hand. I'll get all the block colour down at some point. So yeah, this is my my self-portrait so far. I've got the colour on the hoodie, I've got the background done, and yeah, I think that's me done for tonight. It's a very short stream just to get started on this portrait. I just needed to get something down, and my next stream will be on Friday evening, probably 8 PM as well. So yeah, thank you very much for watching me tonight, and see you next time.